good? Yeah, you look like he must have dropped a few pounds or something. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. It's October 5th, 2025. Let's tap right in. See what storyline Spirit would like to share with us. Get this going a little better. Dang. Well, it's always exciting, isn't it? Collective energy, please, Spirit. Collective energy. Storyline for the collective, please. Storyline for the collective. Storyline for the collective, please, Spirit. Storyline for the collective. All right, in the central energy, we've got nostalgia, something about history, memories, in the challenge position, sort of came out in the reversed. Seven of Cups in the reversed. There may be some kind of confusion going on. Fantasy. The Emperor is here. In the recent past. We've got the Two of Wands. Intentions and expectations. Ten of Pentacles. In the near future. High Priestess. The lens is being looked through. Oh, Knight of Swords came out and it flipped into the reversed. Somebody's burned out. They're unable to defend their beliefs. They don't know what to do. In the environment. Strength. Courage. There could be an event that requires that. Hopes and fears. Judgment. And the outcome. Three of Swords. Separation. Some kind of a separation. Hierophant is turning the wheel for love. We've got the King of Swords here and the Page of Wands. So truthful, honest, clear mind, and limitless potential. Has somebody in a nightmare. They're in a nightmare over this Empress getting this 9 of Cups, which come true. The Devil is codependent on these love unions, on these unions. The Devil is codependent on you. They can't get along without you, High Priestess. You're recuperating and making plans for the future. What are you going to do with your Ace of Pentacles? Your new career based in truth here. Your truth is causing a tower for the Devil. Freaking nightmare. Because you've got public recognition and victory, and you're moving into an actual divine love union. Not the Devil union. Very swiftly, justice is going to be delivered, and there's death here. There's death and a new beginning, which will move divine feminine forward in love. Because you persevered through some challenges. And it could very well be that the Devil or the codependent one will have to do these challenges now too, because they've lost their money. King of Pentacles may have lost all their money because you left them behind. Take it as it resonates. You know, they were getting it from you, it looks like. Let me get my fly swatter. Yeah. Pardon me, folks. I've been on a mission today. Left the door open too many times during that sunny weather. So we've got nostalgia, the history. So there's memories or history of the narcissist is being looked at. So there could be, reminiscing There could be a narcissist reminiscing. Or maybe you're just looking at the memories of the history of this narcissist. They're confused. They're challenged because they're confused about moving. So they didn't get the opportunity. Woo! They have to move. Sorry about that, guys. All right, so we've got a narcissist. We got the history of a narcissist here. They're challenged about and confused because they didn't get an opportunity. I didn't even burn that much sage. Well, apparently it's a freaking 3-alarm fire, a 2-alarm fire or something. The narcissist has to move. The Emperor is here regarding this foundation and the security of it. A new leader is giving a challenge to this narcissist. The new leader is taking care of these third-party enemies. They got to move. Those who have been, you know, gaining relationship with the feminine, but they actually they want to be with their same-sex partner, but they have to get a relationship with the feminine in order to gain gifts and the sweet, loving cup of the Divine Mother, right? I swear, the way this is sounding, it sounds like the wealth follows the maternal line. And we've got masculines here competing for that wealth because they don't particularly care for the feminine and they don't want to have a family or any of that, but that's where the wealth is. So we've got the Two of Wands here, leaving home, water sign, leaving home, they got to move. Their expectation, intentions, well, we got the Ten of Pentacles here. Somebody's moving. Everybody's moving. There's like a big swap or something happening. Okay, well, that was not real tidy. Okay, so you've got the Ten of Pentacles here. It is, excuse me. It is, wealth, inheritance. Everything in divine timing. Let things flow. It could be that you're given time. You're given a 10 of Pentacles worth of time. Like it could be that you're getting times 10 or whatever of the time that they took from you, High Priestess. Like they owe you time. A whole bunch of it. A wealth of it. Open your heart. High Priestess, heart is open. Maybe she's here to help people open their heart. It's very sensitive. We got these devil energies out there, you know. They're always quizzing each other about a commodities sensitivity. It's the way they look at it. They're not humans. They deal in humans. Whatever these things are. Posing as men. We've got the Knight of Swords in reversed. They're burned out. They had a disregard for consequences. They took a gamble. They gambled this High Priestess. They rejected this High Priestess. They threw her away, thinking that they could just bury her and then suck off her freaking life force essence forever. But she's strong. And God's here. God, the Hierophant, lifted her up and said it's time for her to go open her heart and get the love she deserves and the will. This narcissistic devil is having a problem. They got to move. Yeah, so you're very strong and courageous in the face of this liar. There is a liar in the midst. You've got judgment here. A new phase. And we've got move on in the reverse. They don't want to move on. Or you're not moving on. We've got the divorce. Maybe they want your mercy because they don't want to move. They have to move. There's somebody here lying to you because they don't want to move. They took a freaking gamble, or they want to take a gamble. Look, you're protected. They're getting cut out here. They're getting cut out. They're divorced. No matter. There's not going to be, even if you're confused, God's here. And the Emperor is here. And they're not going to, you're protected. It's like they're not going to let anybody attach to you. They're not going to let this liar attach to you. We've got challenges with intuition, or somebody is challenged. They might be ignoring the red flags, spying on you, doing love spells and watching you to see if it's working. They're trying to be patient, you know, but it's not. They have no patience. They can't be patient. It's not working. They're not getting date night. They need date night for this new cycle, but they got divorced out of a commitment and intimacy. Like, they don't get it anymore. This gold digger has to go back. They're not going to be connected to this High Priestess. No. They're hoping that if they make a confession, that they'll be permitted back into a fire sign's energy. And it could be that the one trying to do that is an earth sign at a distance, or an air sign, because, well, an air sign's letting go. There might be an earth sign trying to let go of yeah. So, you know, you're being stalked by third parties, but the Emperor is right here watching them very carefully, and so is God. High Priestess, you're not alone, and you don't have to deal with this alone. Nobody's going to be able to trick you. Even if somebody came in and gave you the perfect, you know, they're not going to let anybody into your energy. It's really, because they're heinous and cruel, like unbelievably so, like unthinkably so. So you're looking at the history of a narcissist, or this Emperor is, and they're guilty. The history of this narcissist proves them guilty. They're not getting any opportunity. They have a lack of purpose. They live in a fantasy, and they're causing confusion for everybody, so they have to move. They got to change residence. They got to get out of there. They're in the territory, but they're a complete devil liar. They're not faithful, loyal. They're a playa. And they don't really particularly care who they're sleeping with. They are a saboteur of loyal, faithful unions. Yeah, shadow side. So they're going back to the shadows. So because of the history of this narcissist, this is interesting. So you've got the history of a narcissist has shown that they are guilty. So they've been found guilty of whatever they did in the history. They have here confusion. They had no purpose. They're not getting the opportunity. They're moving back to the shadows. You know, that energy that they love and enjoy spending time in. So they're going to go to that. The Emperor is here, and he's dealing with this third-party narcissist here, the lying and trying to get into the energy of this High Priestess. Or the Emperor. Maybe the Emperor is dealing with a third-party hoe bag, trying to get into his energy. Narcissist. Maybe this Emperor is here dealing with third-party saboteurs, making sure that they get out of there. We've got daydreaming. Yeah, so you've got the third-party enemies here trying to sabotage you, and they're daydreaming of being with you. Or it could be that the Emperor is daydreaming about being with this Empress. We've got leaving home, travel plans, water sign, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. New chapter. We've got the Ten of Pentacles and give it time. So everything in divine timing, let things flow. There's a Ten of Pentacles here. Financial security, you know, domestic happiness. You may be getting money as well as time for all that they have taken from you and enjoyed at the cost of your suffering. Yeah, neglected. They failed to give you what you needed. So you're getting pentacles and time because of the neglect. High Priestess is opening her heart. She's very sensitive, and she loves herself. She's purity. Her energy is pure. Her mind is pure. Her heart is pure. She's connected with the Hierophant, and who is turning the wheel on love. Those who are of love are getting a new opportunity, it looks like. We've got a Knight of Swords in the reverse. They're unfocused and unpredictable. They don't really have any direction to go in. They have a disregard for consequences. They really don't care about anything. They're taking a gamble. They're taking a gamble. Or there is an understanding. Perhaps they have problems with alcohol, and they're bad with finances, or they're losing their finances. They gambled this High Priestess. They behaved very recklessly and dangerously, very heinously, and laughed about it. So they took a gamble, and there is an understanding of exactly what they've done here. There's strength. You're very courageous in the face of this liar who's right in your face in this environment. They're in regret. They lied, and they're in regret. You're very courageous. This liar is in regret. You're calling judgment. There's a hope or a fear. There's a fear of judgment. They don't want to move. They don't want to move. They don't want you to move on. They don't want to move. This liar is here being sneaky. Habits that they'll never change. They don't want to move on, but they got habitual patterns that they'll never change. So they are moving on. They're in a Three of Swords energy, and you are protected here from a chaser, from somebody chasing after your destiny. So they're cut off. They got to get out. You are protected here, and from this chaser who's chasing after your life, your energy, your status, your wealth, your soul tie. Look, you got a soul tie here. You're being protected. You have a soul tie. They feel that the way you love cannot be matched. You are irreplaceable and inseparable. They're not going anywhere, and neither are you. You're stuck like glue together. And this third party is feeling your absence. This reflection who's got low vital force is missed their opportunity. They're feeling broken and shattered here. Missed their opportunity. You know, they were sabotaging you and laughing about it, thinking that they were going to escape whatever this was by stealing your commitment, your reciprocal commitment, by lying. So now they're overwhelmed and want forgiveness for what they did. You know, they're confused. Everybody's talking about it. There could be confusion. The truth is being revealed about this prideful person and the damage that they've been causing to soul contracts. They've been found unworthy because their values are all about money. The only thing they had hoped for was money, while you were hoping for a responsible union. They made mistakes. They want to fix this connection. They want to talk. It was an unexpected outcome, but they have to stay away from your destiny. There's a lot of space here. They got to stop. You're protected. So there's a lot of threats, you know, and there's a lot of chaotic energy, and there's going to be a lot of damage and a lot of there's going to be a lot, unfortunately, there's going to be a lot of masculines obeying orders and hurting people just because of what they've chosen to support. So we've got the memory of a narcissist. The history of a narcissist has got them caught up in a guilty verdict. They are feeling pain from the damage that they've caused for making life hard for a diamond. They're guilty of making life hard for a diamond. They are not getting any opportunities with you. They have to move out. Maybe they have to move back to the shadow side because that's what they play in. Because you weren't tempted by the snake and they did not get an exit plan. So you were not, you didn't go south node. You didn't get tempted by the snake. You didn't take advantage of any opportunity because High Priestess was loving herself, connected to the Hierophant, connected to God the whole time. And she's like, I don't want your opportunities. These guys, you know, they get in your face in the astral and they start waving money in your face, you know, these stupid opportunities. When the High Priestess has a lot more substance than that. And they just couldn't see it. Refused to see it. They couldn't see it because it wasn't in them, you know. High value, high morals, love, you know, sacred wisdom, sacred care for the inner divine. None of that's in these ones, these doubles. So they can't recognize it. They can only get pissed off at the results that it gives, this High Priestess, and then demand that she give them her results. You got the Emperor here dealing with saboteurs, the third-party saboteurs who were daydreaming about being you. He's bringing an ending to this. Third-party saboteurs trying to sabotage you and be you are experiencing an ending. The Emperor is right here delivering it, supported by the Hierophant. There's travel plans for a water sign, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. They may be leaving home. And we've got new chapter. It has been a rough road for you. It's been a really rough road for you. But you're getting a new chapter. You're getting 10 Pentacles. And it looks like you're getting time, too, for all of the neglect that you had to endure. while loving people. All of the neglect, you know, people playing games with love. So you're getting 10 pentacles and time because they just jacked you around for centuries, most likely. High Priestess is opening her heart. Her heart is open. She loves herself. And even when these masculine devils, you know, were out there, you know, hit it and quit it, or, you know, promise and then lie, you know, lie, whatever. She poured her love into herself. She had to, in order to heal from the neglect and the cruelty. Secrets. Someone isn't telling the whole story. You have to be willing to both say and hear the truth. She's still trying to heal from the lies that were told about her. Knight of Swords in the reverse, unfocused, took a gamble, or maybe they are taking a gamble. Maybe they have problems with addiction and there's an understanding that they've lost. Maybe they've, understanding they've lost. They see your side of the story. They know they've lost, but they're acting without disregard for consequences. You're very strong in the face of this liar. They're trying to be sneaky. They regret. They wish it had never happened. They're in regret. The liar is in regret. They're looking for an escape. Or maybe they're in regret for trying to use your love as an escape while brutalizing you. They really wanted to just trap you and then get a copycat to dress up in your energy and assume your identity. But here you are talking and being real with everybody. Good, bad, ugly. Fresh, tired, dressed up, dressed down. Authentic. So there's judgment here. They're not able to move on. They're not moving on with you. They took a gamble with you, High Priestess, and there's an understanding of what they've done here. And so they've lost you. They rejected you. They threw you away. They brutalized you, tormented you, and now you've got protection. You're very strong and faced this liar courageously. They regret using love as an escape. Or they're in regret. They wish it had never happened and they're looking for an escape. They've got habitual patterns that they'll never change. They're not able to move on. This is a third party daydreaming of stealing the destiny of High Priestesses and then siphoning that energy off and dressing themselves up in it and pretending that they're a woman or, you know, a High Priestess or whatever. They're not very nice. They're tangled up in a web of deceit. That's the energy they live in. So they're getting a 3 of Swords divorce. They're getting cut out of your energy, High Priestess, and you are protected from them chasing after you. Your guardian is going to make them not want to chase you anymore. Their cup is empty, and it kind of came out sideways. So they're not able to take your cup, and their cup is empty. So you're protected from this chaser chasing you. Your guardian is going to make it so they don't want to chase you. Their cup is empty. The truth is that they're not getting what they want. You're leaving, and they're trying to reach out and connect to you, but love is eluding them. You're very much protected. Your guardians are not going to let them touch you. These ones were complaining last night or the night before. They feel that your guardian is overprotective, but considering what has been going on with your energy and your heart and your soul and the damage that they did trying to stick you in that web and never let you go and never let you be happy. You know, this Emperor and the Hierophant here, they don't think that they're being overly protective. It's absolutely necessary. The heinous crimes that they have done against the mother, the unthinkable that they have done against the children. They're going to have a long way to go before they find what they want. They need to face it, you know. Their needs aren't going to be met. Everything is going to be in pieces because they're childish and they've been playing on the dark side and loyal to the dark side, breaking promises, breaking people's hearts, breaking their spirits, trying to strip them of their soul and put them in this rabbit hole. They're drowning. They're going under. They can't keep things afloat. They weren't willing to settle down and actually love the mother. They would rather love each other, which is fine. Go, but don't try to hurt the freaking mother because you want to dress up in her energy and you have the magical knowledge to do so. That's just rude, man. This high priestess is really tired of dealing with these energy thieves, these identity thieves, these masculines who hate the feminine and do these prostitution rings. They despise the mother. And she's tired and deserves a break from this. And she's being fierce and aggressive, and so are her protectors. And it's absolutely necessary. I'm sorry, these lying devil third-party hoe bags who hate the mother do not deserve any kind of subtlety or leniency or permissions to even be anywhere near her energy. How dare they even consider it? And how dare they whine and complain? They're grieving. They want forgiving. They're feeling crushed. But they neglected you bad. A whole bunch of people. A whole bunch. These two masculines that were all into each other went out and slept. They tagged a whole bunch of feminines so that they could harvest that freaking reward out of their spiritual account and call themselves successful men. They're going to go far away from you. And they're going to be alone. They're going to have to leave you alone because they're guilty of doing this to many, many flames, burning many, many flames. They've done their very best to destroy the reputation of the father, is what they've done. They have brutalized and used that appendage as a weapon of war against children and sacred, loving mothers with sacred connections to source and creation itself. And they decided to treat her like she was a pile of shit that needed to be buried. But, you know, flies like that kind of, that's what they think, you know. They're like, ooh, shit, we better bury that and come back later and get some, you know. I don't know. It's like they think of the high priestess as a bunch of crap, but they absolutely need her and like her. It's like they're flies. They think of her as a big pile of shit, and they want to latch themselves onto it because it nourishes them. But they got a totally twisted perception when it comes to the divine feminine. She's not a pile of shit. And, you know, they don't deserve to be connected to her energy in any way whatsoever. No way whatsoever. They don't deserve to be connected to any mother figure whatsoever, regardless of her age. I don't think they deserve to be connected to any male child either, or even a proper divine masculine, because of what they've done to their reputations. What they've done to God, who they were made in the image of, and that reputation. You know, and there's a lot of cultural differences between folks. And I think the majority of those cultural differences have something to do with religious beliefs and centuries old hatred for others. It's, you know, kind of crazy. That we've got a whole bunch of generations out there fueled by hate, fueled by fear, fueled by a desire to destroy somebody. So yeah, we've got the history of this narcissist who is guilty of making relationships that were here, people that were here to serve the higher good. They would get relationships with them and then make life very, very difficult for those diamonds that were here to share the wealth. They extracted the wealth and then made life very, very difficult for the one who brought the wealth to them and shared it with them. It's like the more they received and the more care they received, the more vile they became, because they would hate you. The more you gave, the more they hated. And then when you stopped giving, they hated you even more and they wanted vengeance. It's like, it's weird. It's just a crazy hate train all the freaking way with lustful perversion. And you know, I'm not saying love who you want, but when you got folks out here doing stuff like this, it's a game. There's nothing loyal. There's nothing honorable about it. There's nothing sacred. It's twisted. So they did not get the opportunity. They have to change residence. They got to move on. They got to move to the shadow side because you were not tempted. Therefore, they didn't get an exit plan, and they're worried. They could not tempt you with that snake. You did not go High Priestess. They could not flip you. You did not go Emperor. They could not flip you. And that was what they talked about the other day. They were under, these two people, this High Priestess, Emperor, were under heavy, heavy persecution for crimes I don't think they did. Because this High Priestess was, what do they call that? Vindicated. The truth has been revealed. So the Emperor is here dealing with these third-party saboteurs who are daydreaming about being he or this High Priestess, and he's bringing an ending to that. He's like, he's not, anybody trying to copycat this High Priestess right now, or him, is probably not going to, it's gonna, there's no, it's one and done. It's one and done. There's like all kinds of warnings, you know, it being expressed by spirit through these stories. It's like, it's one and done. We're moving into a state of honesty and transparency, authenticity. You can trust people. So this sabotaging people, you know, and the terrible, it's like sexing them up, and whether it be willingly sexing them up or violating them in such a way, you know, it all brings pleasure to these guys. And the Emperor, who is a true divine masculine, is bringing an end to this. He's quite upset, I think, over what these masculines have done with the reputation of the divine masculine, who actually cares about divine feminine and, you know, the children and the animals. You know, all living things carry this light unless they're running around here dead or serving the dead. And I'm not saying the dead are just waiting their turn, right? But we've got some that are actually worship death. We've got surrender. So there is leaving home. There could be a water sign, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, leaving home, making travel plans. It could be that in this new chapter, they're either getting a new chapter or they have to surrender this new chapter because they made life so difficult for people. They have to surrender their need to control this new chapter. It's exactly what that is. Water sign, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, narcissist, third party, saboteur, masculines. 10 of Pentacles here. You're getting your inheritance, and you could be getting extra time for all of the time that they stole from you, lying to you, you know, tricking you, sabotaging you. With these divine feminines, you know, they did magic over their crown so that they could separate them and then slip in a copycat and dress up in the memories and the mind and receive, you know. I don't know how this works exactly. I just know that they do it, and they did it, and it's coming to an end. They played games with love. They played games with you. They neglected you in a big way. They abandoned you. They rejected you. And now you're getting, you got something new going on here, and it's very well protected. They say that he's overprotective, and I say, no, he's not. You know, I pray all the time that these masculines and their feminine counterparts, or their helpers or whatever, that they absolutely not be permitted in my energy. I have prayed for it. I have prayed for it over and over again. I'm going to smack that. He was right there. I almost gave you a whack with my fly swatter. Yeah, we're not doing that. We're not doing that crap anymore. Courage. They don't have any courage. They played games with love, with you, High Priestess, this beautiful, sacred, top of the freaking line mother figure. High Priestess, her heart is open, and she poured her love into herself. They were lying. They were telling secrets and lies, and there's a change to this. They were not telling the whole story on you, and that's going to change. So they're acting with disregard for consequences. They're taking a gamble, or they took a big gamble, and there's an understanding of what they've done here, and they've lost. They have lost, and they could be getting some discipline, or maybe they have lost because you are so disciplined, because you are grateful and thankful. And they have lost you. They have lost your ability to accomplish whatever you set your mind to. They have lost your energy of gratitude. You're very strong here regarding this liar, this sneaky little devil who is in regret and looking for an escape, or they're in regret of trying to use your love as an escape. Trust. They're under judgment. They can't move on. They can't move forward. They got to go back. They're moving to the shadow side. They're not moving forward with you because of the habitual patterns that they'll never change. Tangling people up in this web. They can't untangle themselves up from this web. They're not able to blame the High Priestess or the Emperor for what they've done, for the things that they do. They're getting divorced out of their energy with the Three of Swords here. It's protected. You are protected from this chaser, this empty vessel chasing you. You are free. You are free. Their cup is empty, and you are free because you are balanced. And you are a limitless, abundant being. It's what you are, High Priestess. You were the prize. You are the prize. You've always been the freaking prize. And these ones have always been the haters, the brutalizers, the jealous ones who want to pretend so desperately that they are you, but they're not even your gender. It's so freaking crazy. The mental mess, you know? It's one thing to be a two-spirited person, but why would you want to go destroy a beautiful high priestess and then suck the life out of her and dress up in it? I mean, you should be satisfied with your own life if you're an actual sacredly, you know, as the essence of a two-spirited entity, you know? You wouldn't need to do that to a high priestess. You would be self-sufficient. I don't know why they don't try to go that route. I think it's just because, you know, sometimes people get so wrapped up in their hate and their jealousy that they know it's impossible. They will never be the high priestess. They can't ever be that. They can't. Organically. Authentically. They want forgiveness. Or maybe you've got forgiveness and acceptance because you are patient and empathic. This is over. The death is here. Death is here. So they're losing out on your services and on your love. It's the end of it. They will never get it back. That's what God said. This high priestess will never give it back. Never. The guardian is here to make sure that it never happens. They won't even have an opportunity to trick her. She's free. She's balanced. She brings a state of perfect balance and harmony wherever she goes. She's a limitless, abundant being who can accomplish whatever she thinks. She's very, very disciplined, grateful, and thankful, connected to the freaking highest, look, dude, land. You know, I thought about doing this video because of the fire alarm and the flies and all that. And the explosion with the sage. But, you know, those could be significant markers for the read. So take it as it resonates. I'll just leave it. So we got the history of the narcissist, has them guilty. They were attracted to relationships that were here to serve the higher good, but then they would sabotage them and make life very, very difficult for those shining beings, those diamonds, using mental disturbance, that freaking witchery. It could be that they are now having a supernatural experience. They're guilty of doing that to relationships that serve the higher good, just making their life very, very hard, driving their mind, and perhaps haunting their house with their astral projections, and they're freaking sticking you with skewers and harvesting your sacral and, you know, molesting you in your sleep and stuff. Giving you nightmares. Running a soap opera of anger through your mind. Messing with your energy. The waters of your body. They're not getting an opportunity. They have to move back to the shadow side. They're very worried. They did not get an exit plan. Their exit plan did not work because they could not tempt you with this devil thing. They're bound to their commitments. Whatever it was that they did, trying to trap you into this shadow, they're bound there. So now they have to move back there. They got a contract they have to honor. The Emperor is here dealing with third-party enemies that are trying to sabotage you, daydreaming of being you, High Priestess, and this is ending. He's bringing an ending to this. We're moving into an honest to goodness, authentic and transparent reality. It's really going to be over this time. It's honestly ending. There's no more tricks. Or maybe the third wheel enemies have to tell the truth. They have to confess or something in order to, I don't know, make a deal. Yeah, the Emperor is here. He's doing something. So third party enemy is trying to sabotage this connection between he and this High Priestess. They were daydreaming about stealing her identity, or perhaps even his. This is ending. They're pretending that it's not, but it is. These third wheel enemies have to tell the truth. It could be that he's expecting them to tell the truth. And if they don't, then I suppose they're going to go to whatever their choice is. This is being stopped. This whole network of people is being stopped, and they could be being stopped by your friends group, your guardians here. Your guardians are making sure they don't get into your energy. There is a water sign here, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, leaving home. They're making travel plans. They got to get into the shadow or whatever in this new chapter. They got to surrender their need to control this new chapter because they made life very hard for you. There could be some kind of danger. They got to use caution. Maybe their new chapter is full of danger because they made it so difficult for you. They know that you're getting this 10 of Pentacles, and they know that you're getting a lot of time. They've talked about it. The curator, you know, who manages, or who did manage the health and well-being and the life force essence, the energy of High Priestesses and Earth Angels and such. They're upset because you're getting a life of luxury, and it's going to last 1,000 years, and there's nothing they can do about it. It's guaranteed. They're still trying. They still very much have the intention. But you're getting 10 Pentacles and time because they neglected you. They were playing games with love, just mentally disturbing you. They don't have any courage here. They're not being very brave. Why aren't they being brave? Because you're getting a miracle. You're getting a miracle. It's over. You're getting good news. High Priestess, her heart is still open and she's loving herself. She's pouring into herself as a High Priestess would when the whole world is taking big dumps on her and she's got to alchemize and transmute all this nastiness. Of course, her heart is going to remain open, but it's going to be like this toroidal field bubbling of this little love soup, right? And no, you can't have any. She wasn't giving nothing to nobody. Nope, nope, nope. Except for what they were stealing, hijacking in the dream state or whatever. So they weren't telling the whole story. They were keeping secrets, and that's going to change. We're moving into a state where people are going to be honest. You have triumphed. There's going to be a change. We're going to be a community of truth tellers. We're not going to be keeping secrets, hiding from each other, because there's not going to be any saboteurs. The Emperor is getting rid of the saboteurs. God is getting rid of the saboteurs, divorcing them right out of the energy. They can't be here. They've cost too many people their lives. They've filled the planet with an ungodly amount of suffering. And they still are with their wars. They're really ramping it up now. You know? Oh. So this is wonderful. Knight of Swords in the reverse. They don't know what to do. Disregard for consequences, man. They took a gamble on this High Priestess and they lost. They lost. And there's an understanding of exactly what they did. She's disciplined. She can accomplish whatever she sets her mind to with gratitude, with a mind of thankfulness, with love for family. focused on family, focused on inner peace, focused on grateful, thankful mindsets, focused on discipline and accomplishing good things. Even while all of these others were there trying to make sure that she never could. So she's very strong. And it's a subtle strength. It's not flamboyant. She's not out there announcing herself. She's just existing. But they know who she is. They lied. This sneaky liar, they're in regret. They regret using love as an escape, or trying to use the love of this high priestess as an escape, because she's a trusted blessing. And the inner voice here, the one guiding her, knows that she is the blessing. She's got a promise. She's got a promise here. She could be promised some kind of blessing. Extra blessing. A whole big old bunch of 10 pentacles and a whole big old bunch of time. Age regression. Probably will be able to have a family and children that were denied her in this game. So whoever these players are, these third-party saboteurs, they're not able to move forward with this high priestess because they've got habitual patterns they will never change. They are unable to free themselves from a tangled mess that they got themselves into because they can't blame her for what they did. Whatever this dark crap that they did to her is seen very clearly that it wasn't produced by her. These ones are getting separated from her energy, separated from others' energy, separated from this community. They're getting divorced out of it. 3 of Swords, and it's protected. This you are protected from this chaser chasing after your cup. Their cup will remain empty because you've got your freedom. You bring a state of perfect harmony and balance to your world because you're a limitless, abundant being. You are so freaking top of the line. I don't have words, especially now. After all that inner fortitude that you had to discover about yourself and then, you know, amplify. Withdrawal. Yeah, so you got your freedom, your balance, and your abundance. These ones have an empty cup. They're being rejected. They're going through withdrawals. They're whacking out in the mental body. They're probably going a little bit crazy. Yeah, they're stressed out. They're stressed out. And there could be a promise that they will receive what they gave to you, High Priestess. They did everything they could to destroy your mind and your connection to God, the higher realms. They wanted you stuck in hell. Now they're worried. There's a whole network here that is worried because they have to stop. And it could be that they stagnated. They stopped living and learning. So there's death here. It's over. Because there's evidence of your shine and what they did to it. Trying to steal your money. You're worth saving. They're frightened, and because they're going to lose their freedom. While this is the end of this bullying, you're going to get the fruits of your labor, because people were coached how to bully you with curses, and there were hundreds, if not more, cursing you, High Priestess. A whole freaking bunch of people collaborating together, and they were all paid and promised something. A big reward if they could just curse you and stick you in hell so that they could bring forth their copycat wearing your energy, High Priestess. It didn't work out. You're a good moral human and you're getting eternal love based on your history. You're very loyal, and when the whole world hates you, you still have a whole bunch of love in you, and you love yourself to health, and you still put out loving, happiness to other people, even while you are dealing with spiritual and psychic attacks. and energetic manipulations and emotional interferences and you know, attempts to drive your emotional experiences. You're getting this real estate and a vow of marriage. Spirit, God, Emperor, they all see, yeah, you're getting this fate. You're getting a reward. You're getting your lucky fate, your lucky destiny. Yeah. So that's good. So because of the history, the narcissist has been found guilty. They targeted relationships that were here to serve the higher good. They mentally disturbed them, did magic on their mental body, and made life very, very hard for these shining ones, these diamonds, while they did what they did. Relationships that were here to serve the higher good. They were here to help people take care of themselves. And rather than join with this, like they said they were doing, they brought a whole bunch of crap to the Starseed, who is now telling them to go F themselves. They're confused. They have to move back to the shadow side. They could not tempt you by that snake or get their temptations, their snake, their sin to stick to you. So their exit plan failed. They're worried. They're bound to those commitments. They could not make it stick to you, High Priestess. You're too much love. Love bombing and gaslighting. In the shadows. Manipulators. They're bound to those commitments. They owe a debt to love, a big debt, to many flames. The Emperor is here dealing with these third-party saboteurs who were daydreaming about being this High Priestess. That is ending. These third parties are enemies. And we're moving into a phase of honesty. Something they are not. They're habitually, look, they're not Starseeds. They're not Starseeds, so it's ending. Yeah, Starseeds aren't going to be mating with third wheel enemies anymore. They bastardized everybody. They were out there sleeping with each other, having bastard children. And I'm not saying anything derogatory about those children. I'm saying the whole thing that these entities did in their endeavor to flip and make and transform everything from its original state into its opposite, you know. They were committed to it, and it caused so much pain, so much heinous, unbelievable pain and suffering. Jealous. So that's what this is. We have a jealous water sign, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, that is leaving home. They got to go back to the shadows because they made life very, very rocky for you. There is a new chapter here that they have to surrender the need to control. They could be in danger. They are jealous of you because you're getting a 10 of Pentacles and more time. They were playing games with love, and they neglected everyone that they pretended to love, everyone that they got relationship with. They don't have any courage because a miracle is being performed here. This is a feral cult leader. Playing games with love, teaching people how to do the forbidden things against sacred, divine, feminine. They hate the feminine. They should not be anywhere near her energy or receive anything from her. They absolutely should not. They should go be what it is they want to be without siphoning off of anybody. Let them go plant their own seeds and nourish their garden and become what it is they want to be. We've got the Oracle here. This High Priestess is an Oracle. She's a prophetess. She is a prophetess that they tortured for centuries. They persecuted her, what I feel is deceitfully, and she didn't surrender. She felt every bit of pain. She had to become a master alchemizer with all the shit these masculines were dumping on her. But her heart is still open, and she poured all that love into herself, and she knew that they were telling secrets, or maybe it is a secret. Maybe loving self is a secret. They don't have any idea. Maybe they didn't really believe that she was love. There's a change here because she triumphed over this nastiness, and she is a prophetess, telling them to stay in their own lane. They acted with a disregard for consequences. They took a gamble on this High Priestess's energy and gifts and life, her very life. And there is an understanding about that. They've lost her for good. They will never, ever get her back. God's probably going to make them remember too, just so that it's part of that mental regret. They lost her. She was their peace. She was their accomplishment. She was their gratitude. She was their family. They rejected her, abandoned her, crapped all over her, punished her, layered her in blame and shame for every foul deed that they could do. Shadow demon. This is a shadow demon who came up against a legendary empath. Snacking on her. Appetizers. These ones love to feast. They're little vampires, lizard men or whatever. She's very strong and courageous in the face of this liar who is in regret and wish it had never happened. They wish they had never used love as an emotion, as an escape. Because the inner voice that guides you, that you trust, sees you as a blessing. You are the blessing. You're getting blessings. You're trustworthy. You are a blessing. And they're a troll. They could be trolling you. There's a troll here who might be trying to gain your trust, but they're a liar. They're under judgment. They're not able to move forward. They have habitual patterns that they'll never change. They're unable to free themselves from a sticky situation. They can't blame you, High Priestess, for what it is that they've done here. They're being separated from you. They could be spying on your channel, on your social media. Shadow demon. Shadow demon, unable to free themselves from a sticky situation. They're tangled. They're caught up in that web. They can't blame you for what they've done. Vampire. Getting divorced. Three of Swords here. You are protected from this chaser trying to get your stuff. Their cup is empty. They're being rejected. You've got your freedom. You are perfect balance and harmony. You are a limitless, abundant being. You are this advanced, they call you a soprano. Like you're upper dimensional. It's like you came in for a mission. Oh, look at that. We got one over here too. Where'd that come from? Ah, the simp is not a unicorn. They do the most for somebody who cares the least. They're not special. They're not a starseed. They wanted to be seen as a starseed. They wanted to dress up in the starseed's energy and memories and pretend, but they're not. They're a simp. These guys are really upset because this high priestess isn't going to be getting them copycats. She's not going to be playing the trafficking game. And the emperor is making sure that these saboteurs, they leave. They're going to be leaving. They're not starseeds. They're imposters. They're imposters. They're not unicorns. They're shadow demons. They don't belong in the territory of this high priestess. They're not the same caliber of entity. These simps they're excited about medication. There's something in the synthetic medications that they feel will act as a connector to timelines or dimensional spaces and places. It's got to be some kind of graphene or nanobot or whatever that they think that this, like, what? There's got to be some kind of they think it's a connector or some kind of a bridge. There's some kind of technology in it that they feel will act as a bridge. They say that if she pulls forward the medicine, that she also pulls forward the connection. And they own the medicine. So there's something going on there. I would ask and pray that the guardian, Most High God, Goddess, Mother, Father, and all of the other divine who have those beautiful, unique skills that, specific regions and realms and timelines and dimensions and, universes out there, various planetary systems, everybody's got their very unique skills and ways of doing things. And right now they're all kind of here doing things together without prejudice, and it's working really good. When you act in such a way, there's not much that can move against you. Love. These ones did not believe in the power of love because they were so committed to separation. But once people came together in unity and combined their special gifts and skills and connections without prejudice for a common goal, boom, man. Not even 2 years. And this has been going on for centuries. This is a black hole, a black square who does the very least to gain the very most. This is a narcissist, feral cult leader. There's somebody that's triggered by an announcement. It could be that this influencer is a billionaire status influencer. Like maybe they've accomplished something. They talk about Earth women and the lifetime story of Earth woman. This high priestess is known throughout the cosmos, the galaxy. This influence, what she did to come up out of that, she didn't surrender. She was very, very strong in her love. She didn't go become malice. She didn't slip into soft mode. She loved herself into health and got her shine on, and God saw her. Emperor saw it. And then led her back into an ascension and claimed all of the information that she was able to gather throughout that time of suffering. This trauma bond, whoever trauma bonded with her and then stole the land, they have to give it back. This fashion witch is a bitch who stole a status of privilege from a legendary empath. They created storylines, false storylines. And there's a warning here. Maybe they were warned not to do that. It's, you got to listen to these masculines. They're talking about weapons, risk, should they attempt a home invasion, So the history of the narcissist has found him guilty. He made things very, very hard for diamonds that were here to serve relationships for the higher good. They caused them mental disturbances and perhaps some supernatural disturbances as well. They disturbed their ability to take care of themselves, and she did it anyway. 5 of Swords. They've been defeated in this fight. They're not getting the opportunity. They have to move back into the shadows that they love so much. They are a love bombing, gaslighting mofo, and maybe they're challenged by that. Nobody really wants to pay any attention to them anymore. They were not able to tempt this high priestess by the snake or whatever this nasty crap they were putting on her, and their exit plan did not work. They're worried because they're bound to their commitments, their contracts that they made while love bombing and gaslighting people. They owe love a debt, a big debt. Everything that they promised and then reneged on, and then stole everything that they were supposed to help build upon. Yeah. Oh, there's death. End of a cycle. They're moving. They got to go back to the shadows. They're bound to those commitments that they made. The Emperor is here dealing with the third-party saboteurs who were daydreaming about wearing this high priestess's energy and pretending that they were this glorious sacred being. That is ending. Those days are over. Third-party enemies are not starseeds, and that's the honest truth. We're moving into a phase that's honest. They may have to confess something. Ace of Wands in the reverse. They missed their opportunity. They missed their opportunity. Water sign, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, leaving home for making things very difficult for others. They have to surrender their need to control this new chapter. This jealous person could be in danger. We've got, yeah, because there's a 10 of Cups here. Happy reunion. They're jealous of your 10 of Cups. They're in danger for what they did. They can't control your future. You've got 10 of Cups, you've got 10 of Pentacles, and more time. They don't have any courage. They were playing games with love and neglecting you, hoping that if they hurt you enough, that you would never ever shine again, that God would never ever see you again. This feral cult leader is lacking courage because of this miracle, because of your good news. Page of Pentacles in the reverse. They're experiencing a financial loss because it's going to you. They got to give it back. High Priestess, they took it from you in the first place. It was always yours. I heard something that makes a lot of sense, you know, that this High Priestess was here to go through some challenges so that she could break the curses off of her bloodline, but her bloodline sacrificed her and then tried to really bury her under there. So when God reclaimed her, that dharma, that ability to break curses off of bloodlines went to a new family. They abandoned her and rejected her so they don't get the gift. And not only that, they heard her very gleefully. They had so much fun. Somebody wants to rush in. There's an oracle. She's an oracle. She's a prophetess. She's a high priestess. Of course she is. She's directly connected to source as the transmitter receiver, the organic, the biological, organic, sacred soul and spirit connected to source itself, part of the all that is, man. They thought they were going to use her as a stepping stool. They were going to put all their filthy feet and just stomp all over her and her love. Go get themselves a reward. There's a Knight of Swords here and a Two of Swords energy. They may be trying to be assertive right now. They're stuck in the middle. They're blind to the truth. They're impatient. There's a stalemate here. They're being told to stay in their lane, but somebody wants to play hero. But they don't know what to do. They took a gamble. There's an understanding that they've been snacking on high value, beautiful, sacred energies. And they've lost you and your inner peace. You can accomplish whatever you set your mind to. You're very disciplined. You're grateful and thankful, and you're getting a family, this beautiful family. And this could have been your family that did this to you. And now they've lost you. They're in a tower. They're in a tower because you've got a new family. Your new family is bringing a tower. God and your Emperor is bringing you a new family. You're very, and it's a very strong, yeah, it's very strong. So you're being very strong regarding this liar who's in regret of using or trying to use your love as an escape. You are trustworthy, and so is that inner voice. You are the blessing. You're receiving a blessing. You've got somebody trolling you here. King of Swords. There could be a King of Swords trolling you, or there's a King of Swords who has authority over this troll, mental clarity over this troll. It could be this Emperor is there, as in his King of Swords energy, dealing with this troll. Calling judgment. This vampire is not able to move on. They're told to go F themselves regarding the habitual patterns that they will never change. This shadow demon is unable to free themselves from that web that they got themselves all caught up in. They weren't able to blame this high priestess for their nasty behavior, and they're getting separated from her. They could be stalking her online. They're getting separated from her life of luxury. Her Nine of Pentacles belongs to her. But they're stalking her still, it looks like. They're getting divorced out of her energy. Three of Swords is protected. She is protected. This guardian is protecting her from these people chasing after her. Their cup will remain empty. They are being separated and rejected. They're not a unicorn. There's nothing special about them. They're a simp for the devil, for this vampire, for this shadow demon. So this high priestess is free because no matter what they did to her, she was able to bring a sense of perfect harmony to her world as a limitless, abundant being. And you know, I heard them, you know, call in Divine Feminine a peasant. You know, they took everything from her, and then they slandered her as a peasant, as a prostitute, because they were jerking off, having orgies, and putting that kind of energy onto her, trying to get her seen as such by God. But what they got here is the world in reverse. It was a failed attempt. She is free. And they have delayed their success. Now, God said that those who wish to delay the purpose of others will delay their own reward. And that's what this says, delayed success. They have to wait for their own reward now. They were not able to close out this cycle. There is justice being served on this team who has been attacking this high priestess. They're in a Four of Cups energy here. They're having a very negative outlook regarding this new beginning that is here. There's a King of Wands here, and it could be this Emperor here, overcoming challenges and leading the charge. He may have like a group or a team. I've heard people call him the commander. And he's dealing with this chaos here, these competitors. Some folks are going to get in trouble. They're already in big trouble. There's been a whole bunch of research, and everything being needed to know is known. And now, you know, I mean, I wait patiently, and I'm kind of excited and a little frightened as to what's going to happen, because it will be chaos. I mean, I imagine that there will probably be a whole lot of people. Well, you got these folks here. They gotta move back to the shadow side. The demons, the vampires, those entities that are living the lives of dead men. You know, and the only way that they can make it seem as though they're an actual living being is by getting those transfusions all the time, you know, and by drinking the fluids of innocence. So I hear through some of the stuff that's on the internet, and some of the stuff that I hear is what it sounds like. The youth serum requires youth. Battle. So it could be, yeah, so Narcissist is guilty of bringing a battle to relationships that were here to serve the higher good. And they would drain the goodness out of it and then cause them nothing but suffering. And, you know, some people, they're really, really good at hurting people, especially the masculines, you know, because they're strong. They're strong. And they have such a hatred for this divine feminine, such a desire for cruelty. But they're very good actors and actresses, so you would never know unless you were a super empath and you could pick up on the energy or the mental body. People who don't go along, you know, they typically get silenced, I guess. So anyway, we've got death. Somebody is confused. They didn't get the opportunity. They're moving into the shadow side. This love bombing, gaslighting person, maybe they got to go deal in the shadows with all of those people that they lied to and put there. They couldn't tempt you by the snake. Their exit plan did not work. They're very worried. They're bound to these contracts that they made, these commitments, while love bombing and gaslighting. They got to go into the shadows. There's death here. Death. So they got to go into the shadows, and they got to deal with those dead people that they love bombed and gaslit and put there. So I don't know if they're going to be experiencing death, or if they actually have to go deal with, see, because they got to, it looks to me like they may have to move into the shadows, but they have to go, there's like death and love bombing and gaslighting. So I don't know if they're moving into the shadows because they're receiving death for the love bombing and gaslighting and the brutality, or if they got to go to the shadows and deal with those people that they stuck there by doing such a thing. Take it as it resonates. Communication. They may be trying to telepathically communicate, or perhaps that's happening to them. Because we do have, what did we have? We had that disturbance. So the Emperor is dealing with these third-party saboteurs who are daydreaming about dressing up in the energy and the identity of this High Priestess. This is ending. They have missed their opportunity here. The third wheel enemy is not a starseed, and that's the honest truth. Or maybe the third wheel enemy has to confess that that they're not really a starseed. We've got released. So they're being released. There's sacrifices happening. The Emperor is he's putting an end to this. He's putting an end to this. However that needs to happen. They're going away. They're leaving home. Water sign, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, because they made it very, very rough for you. For the collective. They got to surrender their need to control this new chapter. They're in danger. They're jealous about your 10 of Cups. They're offering some kind of a resistance. You're getting the 10 of Cups, the 10 of Pentacles, and time because of all of the neglect and the games that they played with your love. They don't have any courage. You've got good news, and they're not courageous. This is a feral cult leader. They could have lost their job, or they're experiencing some kind of financial loss. Warning. They've got a warning here. There's a warning here to stay in your own lane. Yeah, the Oracle is providing a warning, I suppose, to stay in your own lane. They are in a Knight of Swords energy and a Two of Swords energy. So they're wanting to play hero. They're blind to the truth. They cannot see. High Priestess's heart is open. She's pouring love into her health, trying to heal, steal from these secrets, these lies. There's a change happening here because she has triumphed over the persecution that I feel was deceitfully laid upon her. She's got a victory. She triumphed over it. She triumphed over the negative influences. She triumphed over the negative influences. Now these ones, you know, they tried to make drug addicts and alcoholics and whores out of everybody. They tried to get everybody addicted to street drugs or prescription drugs. They wanted everybody angry and vengeful and wanting to go to war. They wanted to prove that humanity was not a high priestess or a high priest, that they were not empress and emperor material. They wanted to prove that humanity was not any better than the vampire shadow demon. And therefore they should stay stuck here so they could continue feeding on them. They tried to frame them and their energy in a big way, but it was all a lie. Because this high priestess, all she ever wanted was family and peace. You know? Teaching her children discipline, teaching them how to accomplish whatever they set their mind to. Teaching them inner peace and how to love, honor, and respect each other. She never gave up hope for that. She never gave up her love. Yeah, so we've got folks in the community here. Somebody's in a tower. There's a whole community that's in a tower for causing mischief. In the community. What happened is, like, these two got persecuted unfairly, and then these devils, they claimed the territory, and then they turned it into a battlefield. And they're still here right now. They're warring. They're wanting to exterminate entire bloodlines. This is already in the spiritual courts. There's already been indictments and things going on. And there's already been decisions made too, but rather than adhere to those decisions, they're going to go ahead and go nuclear on everybody. They don't want to give anything back. They don't. Their war is with God. And God likes humans. And so these hybrids, vampires, shadow demons, want to exterminate humans because they hate God. And they don't want God having a place here. If God is here, then they want God, or the God energy in these stars, suns, high priestess, hierophants, and emperors and empresses, and all of the loving human beings that actually care about life and procreation and generational family trees and, you know, bloodlines that are self-sufficient and solid. So this liar is in regret for trying to use your love as an escape. You're connected to the inner voice. You're connected to God. You were always connected to God. You are the blessing, and it is a blessing. This troll is here. It looks like this King of Swords. Now, King of Swords might be a troll, or this could be the Emperor in his King of Swords energy, getting all up in this troll's business, because this troll's trying to get all up in your business. Luck. Luck. Judgment. This vampire shadow demon is not able to move on because they've got too many habits that they will not change. They absolutely will not. They can't change it. So they're going to go get F. They're stuck in this web that they created trying to trap you. They can't blame you for any of their crap, and they're getting separated from this life of luxury that they stole from you. It's coming back to you. Yeah. They're getting disconnected from your abundance, and they're getting disconnected from your Nine of Pentacles, your life of luxury. They don't get to move forward with you, and you're not getting stuck behind. They could not blame you for what it was they were doing. God sees. The Emperor sees. Everybody knows the truth. They're getting divorced out of your energy with this Three of Swords, and you are protected from this chaser chasing after you. Their cup will remain empty. They are being rejected and going through withdrawals. So there's nothing special. We've got Unicorn in the reverse. Starseed in the reverse. This is a third wheel enemy. Saboteur. Simp, who does the most for somebody who cares the least. They're loyal to this shadow demon vampire. They've been feeding their intimate unions or relationships to it for a meager token or two. A small reward for being an F-boy and an F-girl and feeding light-bearing people. They got sent down a path of incoherency. They could not see how to add value to their soul. And nobody wanted to teach them. And now they're in grief because they're in isolation. They have to stay away from you, and they're going to be alone. We got the World card in the reverse. They were not able to complete this effort. It is a failed attempt to destroy. A high priestess and an emperor who is about love and loyalty and faithfulness and family and inner peace and discipline, purpose, play, heart bonds that are fun, that you can play and have joy and happiness. But these vampires are happiness haters. You know, they want the whole world filled with suffering. They're going to try to pour it in there right now. Their routine is mimicry. They're just pretending that they're caring, you know, leaders and mothers and fathers and whatnot, but they're not. They are distracting people with their words. So they were trying to distract it, or maybe they're distracted. It could be that whatever they were, all the distractions that they did in the past have been observed. Everything that they did in the history of this anomaly, this shining one, has been seen. And they gained their freedom and exposed everything. Everything that these vampire shadow demons were doing. We've got a team that had been stealing gifts in the territory based on their own interests. They've been feeding on others, using their gifts and then calling them their own. But you actually grew, High Priestess. You had to, considering all of the people that were cursing you and hexing you and burying you under their filth. You grew, you expanded. And it caused upheaval for them. Now you're planting seeds, and there's preparations. They got to make preparations. They got to go scavenge. They're going to be scavenging, and they're going to be surviving because they're going to get displaced. I've heard some of these masculines talking about somebody dumpster diving already, so they probably got lost their home. They were doing trickery with mirror magic, causing illusions, and astral traveling into other people's homes, spying on them, touching them, doing things to them, unseen, vile. This sacred space is going to be protected from any risk that they might even consider slightly to apply into the area. Not going to be doing it anymore. They're afraid. They're afraid because these ghosts are now going to be experiencing being dominated. It's their turn. We're going in a new direction. There's a commitment to going in a new direction. And you can anticipate that whatever they try to do to you is going to roll off. Divine Mother, in one of her aspects, stated that they cannot curse your land and they cannot curse your business. And I'm guessing that means they cannot curse you either. You are balanced. You are balanced. Perfect harmony. Perfect love. Disciplined. And you know the wonderful thing about it is that as big as you are, as much as you are, it's like you're not out here, bling, 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 bling. You're not making any noise or ripples at all. You are like, ooh, you're like that total Zen mode. Like people may not even know you're there unless, of course, it's kind of hard to not know you're there, but you're not like these showboats, They want to dress up in your energy, and then they want to go announce to the world how wonderful they are and how much they got, and ooh. And you're just over there loving, thinking about family, focusing on maintaining inner harmony and balance and peace, focused on being disciplined in your mind, keeping that high vibe, happy, settled energy. Anyhow, that's what I got for you. I hope that this clarifies anything that you already intuitively knew. And I'll see you on the next one, everybody.